All right, folks, good morning. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So for today, Wednesday, the 18th of December, we have the following information. We already had at 8:30 a.m. building permits, which came in better than expected. That's a moderately important report. We also had current account and housing starts. Both of those two came in worse than expected, but they're not major reports. However, the big news for today is at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have the federal funds rate, the FOMC economic projections, and the FOMC statement, and then we're going to have the FOMC press conference. Now, of course, that means that we're going to get extreme volatility today starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. So we do not, I repeat, do not want to do any trading at all during that time. We want to be out of all trades prior to the start of that release. Now, this is where the Federal Reserve is going to set the interest rates going forwards, which will have a very dramatic impact when it happens, and their statements will have impact going forwards, which will dictate which direction the market ends up going. All right, having said that, looking at the QQQ ETF, the NASDAQ ETF, we can see that currently we're moving down sharply after originally trading higher. We've now come back down to below the closing price of yesterday. Yesterday's trading action, the market was bearish in the sense that it opened lower than where it closed the previous session, but the action was very neutral in that it didn't really go up or down, just went sideways. Taking a look at what was moving yesterday, obviously we wouldn't expect that there would be many opportunities on a day like yesterday, but we did find one, and only one, and it was Amazon. Amazon was bearish. Let me put this in. And we were able to take advantage of the move down. The stock bottomed out at 227.85. It wasn't able to get down to our target number 2 to the downside of 227.19, but it was well below our 229.79 target number 1. We were able to take profits in there. The stock actually reached a major area of support, and we recognized that before it got that support was there before we got there. And once we saw the stock looked like it was going to be able to get through, we were able to exit while there was still a good chance to take a good profit. All right, looking at the pre-market session, let's take a look at what we have at the moment. So at the moment, here are the stocks that are showing up in the pre-market, and we'll see if they are qualified. So first is AMPG, which is currently up about 6.76% on 2.3 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we can go ahead and add that to our pre-market watch list. The symbol is AMPG. Oops, AMPG. Next up is CRVS, which is presently down 26.6% on 2.8 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add that, CRVS. Next up is that doesn't qualify, sorry. Next up is LAES. Oops. That's currently down 6.71% on 13 million shares. It's still above $1 per share, so we'll go ahead and add that, LAES, to our pre-market radar. Next up is LDTC, which is presently down 12.77%, 1.5 million shares. It's still above $1 per share, so we can add that. LDTC is the symbol. Next up is MOBX, which is currently up 18.7% on 1.1 million shares, trading above $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add MOBX to the radar. Next up is MTVA, currently down 8.83% 3% or more. It was up previously to this, went as high as $4.20. Now it's down. Traded at least 3.6 million shares, and it's over $1 per share still, so we can add that MTVA. Next up is NUKK, which is currently up 26.77%. 4.4 million shares is at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add NUKK to our pre-market list. Next up is NVIDIA. Looks like it's up. I don't think it's up enough, but it's up 2.75%. So that's a pretty strong increase overnight, but it doesn't qualify for our list. However, worth noting, duly noted that NVIDIA is up sharply. Of course, any ETF like NVDL should be up close to, it's about 6%, so it's not up enough. But anyway, just a note, not something we're going to be looking at, except after the opening bell, perhaps. PLRZ is presently up 159% on nearly 39 million shares, and it's above $1 per share, of course, so we will add PLRZ to our pre-market list. Next up is PRZO, which is presently up 39.22%, 15.3 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So this one will be added to our list, PRZO. Next up is, looks like QUBT might be on the list. Let's see. Yep, it's currently up 15.5%, 14.4 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll add QUBT to the pre-market radar. Next up is RGTI, which is presently up, well, it's only up 0.36% at the moment, so we can't look at that. So I'll pass on that one. Next, we'll check RZLV. Sorry, typo. RZLV. That's currently up 20% on 14.4 million shares, trading above $1 per share. So we'll add RZLV to our pre-market list. And next, we'll check up on, let's see, VRAR. That's currently up over 18%. 9.9 million shares is at least $1 per share. We can add that, VRAR. And finally, we have VSTE, which is presently up 96% on 43.4 million shares, trading above $1 per share, so that's added as well. All right, so these are the stocks we found so far. Pretty long list, but if you find any other stocks that meet all 4 of our criteria, other than, of course, the ones I've already mentioned, let me know in the chat. The 4 criteria we're looking for must be a NASDAQ-listed stock trading at least $1 per share in the current pre-market session. Must have achieved at least 1 million shares of pre-market volume and at least a 6% price change, which can be positive or negative. Jen has mentioned CGTX, which is currently up 133%, 103 million shares roughly. It's above $1 per share, and it's not already on our list, so we'll add CGTX. Next up is RR, which is currently up 19.5% on 3.4 million shares. It's at least $1 per share, so we'll go ahead and add RR to the pre-market radar. Next up is ABAT, which is presently up 29% on 7.4 million shares. And it's at least $1 per share as well, so we'll go ahead and add ABAT. Next up is QSI, and that is presently up 10.22%, 4.8 million shares. It's at least $1 per share, so we'll add QSI to the pre-market list. And finally, we have SIDU, which is presently down 10.54% on 1.1 million shares. It's at least $1 per share, so we'll add SIDU to the pre-market list. All right, folks, we'll go ahead and wrap up for this session. Please be sure to like the video. I see we have 7 likes, but more than 7 people watching. So please be sure to hit the like button, which greatly helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when we upload a new video. If anyone is watching this video on a replay and you're not familiar with our company, check out fundertrading.com. That's our website. You will see a link in the description to this video. Other than that, for everyone who's part of the coaching program, I'll see you there in about 20 minutes. We'll pick up for today's session. All right, remember, again, we have the FOMC at 2 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you're out of your trades by then. Have a great trading session, and I'll see you for tomorrow's pre-market pulse. Take care.